Are you wondering what questions to ask to evaluate a property while you tour it? What to look at? Well, stick around as we go step by step through an actual property. And at the end, I'm going to talk about why a local buyer's agent can add tons of value to your home search. All right, let's go on a home tour. The goal of a home tour is to see if that property is going to meet your needs, but also to evaluate it so that there are no surprises if you're interested in making a purchase offer on the property. We want you to be prepared to handle all items necessary with the property. So the first item an agent or you can look at is the property structurally sound? So how do we know that? Well, the first thing is to observe if there's any cracks. So I'm gonna look up and down and around while I'm touring the property. There is some minor cracking here, but I wanna show you if we go to the other side, you definitely notice, for example, this porch seems to be pulling away from the house. So is it just a porch issue? Is it an actual house issue? So another way to do that would be to look around the entire exterior of the house to see if you see any moisture or cracking or other issues. I can tell you right there, I see a gutter that has not been extended away from the foundation. So we potentially could have some moisture items at the exterior of the foundation there, which could eventually lead to problems. Okay, so the second thing we want to look at is smells. Maybe they can give you an indication. So when you first step in the home, be sure to take a quick smell. Stop and pause and see if you can smell anything different or off in the property. This property smells a little musty and a little bit like paint, but I don't smell mold or moisture or anything bad that potentially means a sewer problem, so that's a good sign. So the other thing we're gonna look at as we're walking around is signs for leaks. We don't want any roof or water damage. Obviously, you're gonna want some sort of roof inspection because that item needs lots of maintenance. I do see here, let's get a closer look, some stains on the wood around the sliding door. So is this door leaking moisture? We definitely need to look into that more. The next thing is going to be looking at appliances and the age of the HVAC system. Those items need to be replaced every 10 to 15 years. So if they're older, you're gonna have to budget for that. So let's take a look at the different appliances throughout the house. In this case, the kitchen is original, looks like the dishwasher is new. Well, the stovetop may be a little newer, but not that new. Oven's not horrible, but they aren't brand new, I can tell you that. Okay, find the home's water heater and furnace, air conditioning unit, and take a look. These look pretty new, pretty good shape. You're definitely gonna wanna reference the property inspection to get an idea of the actual condition of them. The AC condenser is right out here. I see lots of lack of maintenance with rust, but this AC condenser looks pretty new as well. So I think in this property, your systems check out pretty good. Okay, the next item to look at is the electrical. A lot of people don't know much about this, but your agent can advise you, hopefully. This here I can tell you is an original electrical panel. Nobody has done anything with it, so I can tell you it's probably a small 100 amp or maybe even 90 amp circuit and has not been upgraded at all. If you're running pool pumps, air conditioning, and a microwave, you might have some problems. So be aware of that when evaluating a property. The next thing to evaluate while you're looking through the property is the kitchens and bathrooms. Those are critical items that get a lot of use, and if they're old like this one looks pretty original, your local agent would be able to comment what original looks like in a neighborhood. I can tell you for sure this is original. We've got linoleum, and I see some potential concerns where this does not have any caulking and it's pulling away. So we could have some damage under there. Be aware that your bathrooms are gonna need upgrading very soon. Okay, we talked a little bit about leaks and internal issues, but I also want to take a look at the roof. So I can tell you this roof is a metal roof, which is a long life roof, but I do see, if you zoom in to the front above the fascia there, it's very faded. So that tells me the roof is probably fairly old. So you're definitely going to want to have a roof inspector up there to see if maintenance was done and how much life is left in that property. And while you're out here looking, again, we're going to look for any cracks or structural items. I can tell you that pool equipment, very old, definitely going to be a concern. When I look around here, I don't see any cracking in the stucco or any potential problems there. I do see a lot of cracking here around the pool. And the last item I really want you to look for is potential issues. So that could be large trees at the property that might be causing problems, any retaining walls or other things that show cracks. I mean, we've got a tree here, it's not very large, but it does show some cracking around the sidewalks there. So that potentially could be something you need to look at. This wall looks pretty good. I don't see any concerns other than those steps are not level. So what's going on? Were they just installed bad, or is it that bush or tree causing some issues? So doing that kind of evaluation to make sure you know everything that's going on with the property. Potential issues. I see here some plugged up vent screens. So has there been rodent intrusion? Could there be rodent issues under the house, or are they properly dealt with? I see here they've actually been covered, but not 100%. So keep in mind when you have inspectors under there, make note if there's been any issues. Here's another spot where something has been plugged. Any issues with rodent intrusion. Again, pointing out some really bad trim. This is falling apart. This side of the house is in extremely bad shape here on the fascia board. This property has a pool. So what potential issues are there? I see spotting at the bottom of the pool, a lot of staining. That tells me that this pool needs to be replastered very soon. And that is a $10,000 to $12,000, $14,000 item to be sure to include in your budget. Hopefully there's a pool inspection as well to understand if everything else with the pool is functioning properly. As we look for potential problems, I see here's a pretty good sized tree right in front of the property. So I think the trunk is probably far enough away to not cause any major issues with the foundation, but you're definitely going to want somebody to be evaluating if there's any cracking going on there that's showing some potential issues. The other thing to be aware of is the roof line and the tree. They are very close together. If that tree starts touching the roof, then you've got potential access for animals to get up there, as well as moisture to gather to cause issues with the roof and gutters. Okay, so as we evaluate this house, if you have a local agent, there's certain local items that the agent's gonna be able to advise you on. In California, there's termite issues, but in this immediate Almaden neighborhood, there are high tension power lines. So those power lines cause concern for a lot of people. What distance is safe? What distance might you be concerned and need to look into other items? Where should you do some measurements to understand exactly how this property evaluates? These are things that a local agent can really add value, and there may be other potential items with schools being full, etc. So your local agent is going to be able to advise you and warn you of all these items so you can look into it before you get into any surprises. Thanks for joining me.